Let's talk about Ritchie Blackmore's Rainbow.
Next up, number 7, Rainbow, and their debut reissued. I know I can get Rainbow Rising and all the others. I mean, they're on vinyl, but try getting their debut. It's next to impossible. In fact, bear with me here. I've had it on CD and, as I alluded to, cassette. I've got them on those formats, and I do have the Rainbow Rising on vinyl coming. But yeah, this one, their debut, with just such a spectacular album. They both are. That's something I would like to see in 2023. Reissues of, like I say, Ritchie Blackmore Rainbow, their first one on vinyl.
Hi, that was Twanger's Turntable, and he recommended Ritchie Blackmore's Rainbow. Now, he was actually responding to a prompt of what he would like to see in 2023, and he was just wanting to have a copy of the CD put out on vinyl that would be easily accessible for everyone. But since I never listened to Rainbow growing up, it's shocking that I have these major gaps in my rock knowledge. And I think it was just because, when I was growing up, if you didn't buy something, you really couldn't listen to it. Very much unlike today, where you can stream or things are on YouTube, or you can, download for free, which I'm not saying you should. So because I'd never listened to this album, I thought this would be a perfect opportunity. Here, Twanger's Turntable was recommending it as an album that he really wanted to have access to, especially for the cover, which is very nice. So I decided that I would give this album a shot. Even not knowing much about Rainbow, I know that song and that opening riff. So the first song on the album is called The Man on the Silver Mountain, and it must have been a hit. I don't know if I knew it from MTV or whatever it was, but it's definitely a song I know, and that opening riff is killer. The second song is called Self-Portrait, and it has a really, really nice chorus. Let's go ahead and listen to it. Down, 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 down. The third song on the album is Black Sheep of the Family, and this is actually a cover song from a band named Quartermass, and that song was originally put out in 1970. I don't know if I forgot to mention this, but this debut album is from 1975, Ritchie Blackmore's Rainbow. And sometimes it's referred to as Ritchie Blackmore's Rainbow with R-A-I-N. You get the picture, because that's the way it looks on the cover. Now, Black Sheep of the Family, to me, is just a very generic rocker. Sheep of the family. The fourth song, however, is a different story. This one is called Catch the Rainbow, and this is a very slow rocker. And I really, really appreciate the instrumental part of this song, which is very slow and wistful. The fifth song is called Snake Charmer, and again, I was just like, meh, it's okay. But the next song, The Temple of the King, is one of the best songs on the album. The singing and the playing is top-notch. Again, the instrumental part of this is wistful, and I really appreciate that. There in the middle of the people he stands. The seventh track on the album, to me, is one of the weakest. It's called If You Don't Like Rock and Roll, and I don't know if it's because of the boogie woogie. I don't think I'm a fan of that, but I just didn't enjoy the song very. It's not a bad song, I didn't enjoy it. If you don't like rock and roll. Now, the eighth song is called 16th Century Greensleeves, and from the research that I did, this was one of the original songs of the album. They went in the studio to record this song and Black Sheep of the Family, and they were going to be A and B sides, and then they decided to continue to make the rest of the album. Now, again, this song is not very good, but the singing saves it. Ronnie James Dio really shines in certain parts of this song. Through the scattered night. And the final song is an instrumental. It's called Still I'm Sad. It's a rocking instrumental. And later, they would add lyrics to this and do it live with lyrics and then put it out on one of their other albums with lyrics. So my overall impression of this album is I'm just okay with it. It's not a bad album by any means. It has its moments, but to me it feels like there's a lot of filler on this album. I'm going to read a couple of the. Now the album was praised in British contemporary reviews for its fantasy, heroic-like lyrical content and the innovative rock style. However, the reviewer for the American magazine Rolling Stone disparaged the album. Modern reviewers have a similar tenor. All Music reviewer wrote that the album has a few listenable tracks, and that the band becomes a true embarrassment when they try to lighten up and boogie down. One journalist criticized Martin Birch's dull and inexpensive production, which ruins what is already a limp noodle of a record. However, that reviewer really liked the song 16th Century Greensleeves, which I didn't. So would I recommend this album? I would, for a couple of reasons. If you're like me and you were into rock or are currently into rock and you have those gaps, you definitely need to hear this album. It's important. I would highly recommend Man on the Silver Mountain, The Temple of the King, and Catch the Rainbow in that order. Although if you already know Man on the Silver Mountain, you can skip that one and go right to The Temple of the King and then Catch the Rainbow. So I hope you've enjoyed my review of Ritchie Blackmore's Rainbow. I want to thank Twanger's Turntable for being my co-host of this episode. Twanger's Turntable, I hope that album comes out so that you can get that vinyl. Thank you for your support.